Hey, Mike.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Heather. Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays. How are you?
You too, and happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Um, I am good. Um, what's new in your life?
Um, I didn't realize I had a meeting with Santa Claus today, but since I'm here, can I give you my list for the year?
Sure. What is on your Christmas list, Heather?
I want art supplies.
Art supplies. I think I can do that.
Oh, I'm so
And thanks for
excited.
keeping your expectations low.
What
Most
do you
people
want
want a
for?
Porsche and a helicopter and a private island in the Bahamas. So art supplies, I think I can handle.
I'm simple. I'm a simple girl. I like the simple things. What do you want for Christmas?
Um, I have been buying myself some magic tricks,
Oh,
and
cool.
I've been calling them Christmas presents. So, yeah, I'd like to think I have simple needs too. Just magic tricks is enough for me for now.
Sounds good. So
Yeah, I
real
wish we could do magic tricks on the air, but it just,
maybe we can.
I think
Maybe
we
next
would
live
need to be in
stream.
the same place.
Oh, that
I
might be it.
I've really learned that so much of a magic trick is due to distances and where people are sitting or standing and things like that. So
Perspective.
yeah, it really would not work out very well virtually.
Speaking of
So,
perspective, so what is on your chin and what is on your head?
well, I am Santa Claus. See, here's my beard,
Oh, okay.
and this is my uh, coat, and this is my Santa Claus hat. And you may
Awesome.
ask what's on my Santa Claus hat, and that would be Pickle, my green cheek conure.
Hello, Pickle. So technically, you're a Santa Claus pirate mix.
I like that. Yes, and whoever said Santa Claus doesn't like to spend some time in Costa Rica or tropical places where there might be parrots?
There you go. Perfect. So
Okay.
if you guys are interested, please put your question in the chat. We will get to them. The closer or the sooner, I should say, you put the question in the chat, the more
Hmm.
likely it is we'll be able to answer it.
Hmm.
Do we have any trivia for today?
Yes, we do. We
Sweet.
have more Christmas trivia.
Ooh,
This is part three. I've done Christmas trivia twice before, and this part three is going to strictly focus on the biblical account of the Nativity. And because there isn't really that much said about the birth of Jesus himself, I'm going to take it all the way from the Immaculate Conception all the way through his baptism, assuming we have enough
so
time.
we should rate this R, maybe PG-13.
Well, the Bible doesn't get very explicit about how the Immaculate Conception happened, but so I think that this is going to be strictly G rated.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So, what
Um,
is our first trivia question?
okay. So an angel came to Mary and said that she would um, become pregnant miraculously, and she would give birth to the Messiah, whatever you want to call him, and that she should name him Jesus. So the question is, what was the name of the angel?
Okay, so if you guys know the answer to that question, put it in the chat. And while we are waiting, would you like to do a viewer question or would you like to do a question from the forum?
Why don't we do about 10 minutes of questions from the peanut gallery, and then we'll switch it over to forum questions.
Sounds good. So our first question comes from Paul, and Paul says, what other slots, like ocean magic, visibly indicate that they are in a positive state?
Oh, lots of them do. I'm familiar with Golden Egypt, for example, and there's another game called not the classic hex breaker, but there's a kind of a fancy hex breaker where the reels can expand according to what state it's in. but I don't know too much about that one. And there's also river dragons, but this is not something I know a great deal about. So that's about the best I can do with that one.
Okay. And do you want to do another question, or should we see if people have answered that?
Um, let's see if anyone's answered it.
Was it Gabriel?
It was Gabriel.
Woo!
Good job to Instant Tea TV.
Very nice.
Okay, question number 2. Who was already 6 months pregnant when Mary had her immaculate conception?
Oh, so if you guys know the answer, put that in the chat. And our next question also comes from Paul. And Paul says, sports betting for football. Is there a major difference between a negative 2.5 and a negative 3 points? Like enough to spend 20 minutes going to a more favorable sports book? How about 3 versus 3.5?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are huge differences. It's worth paying about an extra 24 basis points to buy just that extra half point off of the 3. So I would absolutely say that it's worth traveling a little bit further to get that extra half point. Now, I kind of think that if you're, say, going from, if one place has 3 and another has 3.5, I tend to think you're going to have to lay money for extra money. Like if 3 was at minus 110, I tend to think 3.5 would be like minus 130, because the sports books aren't super stupid. But yeah, it's huge to get that extra half point off of 3, because something like I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's something like 17% of football games in the NFL end in a margin of victory of 3 points.
So, if I heard you correctly, sportsbook are only a little stupid, not a lot stupid.
I don't want to even imply they're a little bit stupid. Ultimately, the market is what determines the prices. Now, sometimes they can throw out bad opening lines and bad proposition bets. But I don't like to be negative, but it's going to be really, really unlikely that you can get +3 at one place and +3.5 at another place with all other things being the same.
Okay, cool. And Pickle completely agrees with you, it sounds like.
Yes, he does. Hi, Pickle.
So we have an answer to the trivia.
Okay.
And 1940s says, was it Elizabeth?
It was indeed Elizabeth, the wife of Zachariah.
Nice.
Okay. So when Mary was pregnant, she came to visit Elizabeth, who was also pregnant at the same time.
Oh, I think Pickle's having a problem.
I think Pickle likes this question. The question is, what happened when Mary entered the house of Elizabeth?
Ooh, we might have to do something that's right next to the microphone, and that's coming across pretty sharp.
Okay, quiet down.
Can I hear? I think I can hear.
Okay.
So
okay, ask me another gambling question.
If you guys know the answer, put it in the chat. And our next question comes from Paul again. And Paul says, should I always expect betting $2 on a quarter machine will give me a lower house edge than betting $2 on a penny machine?
I wouldn't say to count on it 100% of the time, but there's a very strong correlation between the denomination of the game and the return. So I think on average, you're probably going to get about an extra 1 to 2% on the return by increasing from a penny to a quarter.
Okay.
But, nothing is certain.
And let's see if we have an answer to that. Nope. No answers on the trivia, not yet.
Okay. Why don't you ask me another gambling question to give the peanut gallery a little more time?
Okay. Sounds good. So our next question is from Scar. And Scar says, how can I tell if a slot machine picking bonus is predetermined or not?
That's a good question. And the way I would do it is if it's a bonus where you pick icons, is if it shows you what was behind each icon after the bonus is over, then you probably did have free will. And if it doesn't show you anything, then you probably did not, and your outcome was predestined no matter what you picked. So I'm not going to say 100% this is always true, but I've never felt that it wasn't true. And it's just kind of an industry convention. And
That's
it might
pretty
even be a law
interesting.
of a regulation. I'm not sure.
That's really interesting. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So let's see if anyone answered. 1940 said John the Baptist was still inside Elizabeth and he was seeing things in a spiritual place, telling the Supreme Court all about the sentence of life in the womb.
I like that. That's an inside joke to the last trivia topic.
Okay.
Very clever. Any other? I can see somebody else answered it correctly.
Oh, I do not see the answer. Where is that?
Who said it? Yeah, 1940s. Above that says John the Baptist leaped with joy. I think
Got
the
it.
past tense of leap is leapt. But yes, so what happened is Elizabeth was pregnant with John the Baptist, and Mary was pregnant with Jesus. And when Jesus entered the house, Elizabeth's baby, who we would later learn to be John the Baptist, leaped for joy.
Very cool.
Yep. Okay, next question. So Mary stayed and lived with Elizabeth for a while. How long did they live together?
So if you guys know the answer, put that in the chat. And everything I have to say is not kosher. So our next question comes from a car, and he says, in Barona Casino here in San Diego County, Mississippi Stud pays 5-1 for a straight instead of the usual 4-1. How much does this lower the house edge?
Okay, I know I have this on my website, and I love the Barona, by the way. Okay, so the house edge on the conventional pay table is measured as just one bet is 4.91%. And let's see. I know I addressed this somewhere. Here we go.
Isn't that always such a pain when you know you've written an article but you can't find it?
No, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
So the house edge under the Barona pay table is 3.76%. So so it's a yeah. So it's a reduction of about 1.15%. So yeah, that's pretty good. So kudos to the Barona for having that liberal pay table. And as far as I know, they're the only casino that does.
Very cool. And before we go on to the answer, H. Lamb says Santa Claus Pirate, also known as Robin Hood. And Miami Boy says, what would be the Christmas version of the Chicken Nugget Challenge?
You know, it's funny you ask that. I'm allowed to say this because it's discussed on my forum, but You may recall the guy who did the 150 chicken McNuggets, Tom G.
Mhm.
Well, somebody with Netflix or with a company that works with Netflix came upon this video, and they're making a show about people that do eating challenges, and it's going to be
That's
kind of like the Queen's Gambit, but about eating challenges. So this individual, Tom, might get this show, and so anyway, he's been getting.
Pickle, stop.
So we've done a couple of challenges recently, and Tom did not succeed at them.
Oh, no.
So just so that will update you about eating challenges. But a Christmas version, I could see eating fruitcakes.
Okay.
Like maybe eating one whole fruitcake, or even two of them.
First thing that comes to mind is you. But okay. That's cool. Okay, so
what is did anyone get the last trivia question? How long did Elizabeth and Mary live in the same place?
nope, nobody took a guess at it.
Okay, maybe not the most interesting question, but they lived in Elizabeth's house for 3 months.
Okay, so they were short-term roommates.
Yep.
Maybe someone got upset with the way someone else did the dishes. Didn't last very long.
Yeah, I hope that they split the chores equally. In fact, Mary should have done more since she was the guest.
Why?
Because, like, if you have a roommate, I think, I don't know. I think just because it's your house, you should have a little bit of privileges in terms of the chores.
Can we take Pickle out of here?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, Pickle. See ya, but sorry, you're not quiet at all. Really loud. Okay, so remember, if you guys have a question that you want the wizard to answer, please put it in the chat and we will get to it. The sooner you put your question in, the sooner we will be able to answer it.
Okay, so here's the next trivia question. Who was the Roman emperor at the time that Jesus was born?
Okay, so if you guys know the answer, put that in the chat. And our next question comes from Vince. Hey, Vince, good to see ya.
Hey, Vince.
And Vince says, what is a good way to manage a 5K bankroll during a 14-day cruise?
Well, first let me say that absolutely don't play the slots. The casinos, the cruise ships set their slot machines really, really tight, as evidenced by the video Keno and the video poker pay tables. I would say this in any casino. I would stick with the low house edge games, in particular blackjack, and the poker on cruise ships has a really high rake, but they also tend to have some soft players. So I would feel out the poker scene and think if you feel that the high rake is worth it. The last cruise I did, you saw some of the same faces at the poker table the whole time, and these were all solid, good players. And meanwhile, the other half were just, you might call them ploppies or recreational players that came and played for a while. I would say blackjack and poker.
Okay. And then what's a good way to spread that out? Like if it was me, I would probably just spend 5,000 all in one day. So how would you be able to stretch that out?
I would have maybe a loss limit of, so he said 5,000 in 14 days.
Yep.
So if you divide, so I would have a loss limit of $350 a day.
Okay, so once you've lost $350, you're done. You have to get out. Can't spend any more until the next day.
And not that I'm real big on money management, things like that, but since you asked, that's my answer.
Okay, sounds good. So we do have a couple answers to your trivia question.
Okay.
Our first comes from our first comes from InstaTTV, and he says, "Was it Augustus?"
Yes, it was Caesar Augustus. So I'll give credit for just
Ooh,
Augustus. 1940s said the full thing. So yes, good job. It was Caesar Augustus.
very nice.
Oh, okay. Um, okay, number 8. And I'm skipping some. So Mary, as everyone knows, gave birth in a manger, if you want to call it that, because all the rooms at the inn were full. And then immediately some shepherds came and visited the newborn Jesus. So the question is, how did these shepherds know about it?
Well, everyone in the tavern was talking about this crazy lady having, like, giving birth in a barn. So they, wanted to come and take some selfies.
I like that answer. Correct, but you certainly get points for humor.
So if you guys know the answer to that question, put it in the chat and we will get to it. As we are waiting, do you want to go on to the forum questions?
Yeah, Pickle pooped on my desk here and it's
Oh,
bothering me.
no. Okay. Oh,
I'll just throw
jeez.
away the piece of paper. Okay.
Pickle was not happy.
Well, if let me turn the camera around. So
Okay.
this is what I see. So I have these nice windows that I'm looking out at, and Pickle was looking out these windows, and I think that he was getting excited maybe by another bird that he saw or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, where were we? Let's okay, forum questions. Here we go. Okay, Gilmer. Oh, and by the way, G, you do so much for me, so I'm in no position to ask you for anything. But as long as you cull a list of topics, I think I think it would be a really valuable source to people watching the videos later if you put a timestamp when each topic started to get discussed. So if if somebody was really interested in, say, a question about the Oakland A's, it might say that question starts at 3:22. So again, I would really appreciate it, but you do so much for me already that I really kind of hate to ask. So just throwing it out there. Okay, that said, speaking of Gilmer, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, he asks, it's looking more like that the Oakland A's will relocate to Vegas, and if so, will want to build their new stadium where the Tropicana stands. As Vegas residents, do you and Heather think that a ballpark on the Strip will add to the fun and excitement, or would it be more of a traffic nightmare? So yeah, I don't know that much about that situation. I would certainly welcome the A's to come here as long as it's not subsidized by the government like the Oakland Raiders were, and the Baltimore Ravens, and probably every single time an NFL team moves. But let's not get off on that topic. No, I think I would not like it if they put the stadium where the Tropicana is, because as you said, whenever there's a game, it would be a traffic nightmare. And I would rather see the stadium built, on some place that's already a vacant lot, or space that's, I don't know, space that's not really being utilized for anything. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything exactly, but I'm sure the city planners could probably think of something that is both convenient to the public and will have plenty of parking, and it's not going to cause any traffic nightmares. Because I think that if anyone is going to go to a baseball game, they will find a way to get there.
Well, it sounds like they want to put that stadium on Las Vegas Boulevard because this isn't the first place that they've suggested that. But I agree with you completely. It's going to be a nightmare as far as traffic goes, as far as parking goes. We see that already with the Raiders Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like another headache to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But as far as, space being available, you're going to have to go on the outskirts of the city because there's no big enough spot, I think, that's available for a stadium that size. And we do have the stadium across from the Summerlin Mall right now anyway.
Yeah, that stadium is not big enough for a Major League Baseball team, but who knows? Maybe they'll have to put it out in the desert someplace.
Yeah.
That would be fine with me too.
Maybe somewhere near the Speedway.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Cool.
that's about as far as I can take that one.
Okay.
The next question is.
Do you want to do the answer to the trivia?
Oh, yeah. What do we got?
So we have Instant TV says, was it from an angel?
Yes, it was indeed an angel that told the shepherds what had happened and that they should go visit.
That angel's such a gossip.
Those angels were so much more busy in biblical times, including impregnating women. No, this is all in the book of Genesis. But I don't know, where are all these angels now? And who knows? Maybe they're walking amongst us, but
they're going to clubs.
I don't know. But they certainly play a big role in the Bible. But I don't know what to say. Okay, next question. How old was Jesus when he was circumcised?
He was circumcised?
Oh, of course, he was Jewish.
Oh. Okay, so if you guys know the answer to that question, why do you know that information? No, put it in the chat, and then we will get to it in a second. And then shall we continue with the forum question?
Yes. Okay, what do we got next? Gilles also asks, what film or TV special does your family have to watch every holiday season? As a family, there's nothing we all watch. What do I personally enjoy? If I'm stumbling through and find It's a Wonderful Life, I'll watch it. But do I make it a point to watch it? No. I've always kind of liked How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Yeah, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not a big Christmas person. So that's about as Christmassy as I get with my entertainment.
Says the guy who's dressed as Santa Claus.
I just did the Santa run and I had this outfit, so I thought I would try to spread a little Christmas cheer.
Do you have a sack of gifts next to you?
No, to be honest, the whole part about gifts is one of my least favorite parts about Christmas, because I like it when people just come right out and say, I want art supplies or something like that. but Mrs. Wizard never drops any hints. She never makes any requests. I get all stressed out not knowing what to give her. And either I give her something that she never uses, or I get her nothing at all. And either way, it ends up in a fight.
Can I suggest something?
Yes, please.
If you have a little black book with you, that you carry around with you, or a notebook or something during the year, not at Christmas time, but like in January and June and May, if there's ever a time when she's like, oh, that would be really nice. Like, I would really like that air fryer. That air fryer would be really, really nice to have. Then just jot it down real quick. And when Christmas comes around, you're going to have a list to choose from of stuff you can buy her.
Well, if that happened, we would just go out and get it. And it's funny you mentioned air fryers, because she did ask to get one. So I got one at Costco, And it has been like 4 months and nobody has taken it out of the box because everybody is too lazy to read the instruction manual.
Oh, that is hilarious. That is so funny. We need to just end it there because that's freaking hilarious.
That's just how we roll here in the Wizard's house.
um, okay, so are we doing? I've completely gone turned around. Are we doing a trivia? Are we doing answers? Are we doing questions? My mind is on air fryers right now.
um, yeah, I think I asked how old was Jesus when he was circumcised.
Okay, we have a couple answers for that. Our
Mm-hmm.
very first answer was from 90s, 40s, 1940s, and they said 8 days to be circumcised universally.
That's right, 8 days exactly.
Ooh. So why is it more than seven? Wouldn't it be like seven? Like, God made the world in 7 days. Why 8 days?
To be honest, I don't know if there's any Jewish members in the peanut gallery. Feel free to answer that. I do know that it is just a Jewish custom, and I think it's also 8 days, like between when somebody dies and they absolutely must be buried. Um,
Also,
at least I think that that's 8 days.
please
So
don't get offended. Like, this is stupid questions from an atheist. Please don't get offended.
no, well, personally, I kind of have an interest in all religions, and
Mhm.
I kind of find that these customs and rules to be kind of interesting.
Okay.
So, okay, so let's move on to
Next
the next
trivia.
question.
Awesome.
Um, so the next question is, what was the name of the person or the priest that circumcised Jesus?
How do you know all this information? This is
It's in the
so like
Bible.
detailed.
It's in the book of Luke.
Someone was there taking notes. It wasn't just the angels and the people in the manger. So if you
Well, we
just
could
know
talk
the
about that
answer,
for a long time. Is Jesus never said, "Okay, guys, where's the scribe? Take all this down." No, they didn't compile the Bible until like
maybe maybe
at least a
Jesus
generation later.
maybe Jesus was a blogger.
I wish that he were, because the information in the Bible is often second and third hand, and um, so it would have been great if people had could capture these things on video, but
Yeah, if they
alas,
had Facebook, if they had selfies. Yeah.
the situation is what it is, and I think the believers would say that the Holy Spirit was upon the people when they were compiling the Bible, and hardcore Christians will absolutely say that the King James Bible was a divinely inspired translation, and all of the other ones are works of the devil. Um, so, but I don't want to get too religious. So now I even forgot what the question was. Oh yeah, who circumcised Jesus? And let's see if there's any more gambling questions at the Wizard of Vegas.
Sounds good.
Um, well, um, Gilmer's question was also to you. Do you have any TV specials or movies you like this time of year, Heather?
Oh, I am in the same boat as you. I don't like Christmas. So, if I watch movies, they tend to be Halloween movies. It's basically 3 months of Halloween for me. So,
Hmm.
yeah, love
Okay.
Halloween movies.
I like that. Okay, Odious Gambit asks me to comment about something that James Grosjean wrote recently. So
Oh.
Grosjean wrote, some casinos don't sweat the money, but many casinos and thousands of bosses expect to win every time against every player and take it personally if the player beats the casino. Casinos are babies, slimy, crap producing, whiny babies. So again, that's Grosjean's words, not mine. I'm quoting him. And no, that's I, from my perspective, I think that most casinos and casino managers have a healthy respect for the math, and they understand that some players are going to win, but they still have the odds in their favor. And the vast majority of the time, um, they're going to win. And when all the dust settles, they're going to make money. Maybe 10% of the players will walk out a winner, something like that, but they should expect that. It's all mathematical. And one thing that I'm often saying, to people in casino management is that it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it's whether or not you have a good bet. And I say that to players too. And most of them will say, amen, I agree 100%. But then again, I know they do get a little bit nervous when somebody wins a lot of money. And as part of my consulting services, I might look at a player's play, and a casino might say to me, Mike, we have this one high roller, and he's up on us by X number of $1 million or whatever. And I'll say, okay, give me a transcript of his or her play, and I'll analyze it. And then I analyze it, and it always comes out to look like just ordinary good luck to me, and not like extremely suspiciously high good luck, just maybe 2 to 3 standard deviations good luck. So, if I ran a casino, and this gets into the next question, I would absolutely honor any clean action, especially from winning players. And so, yeah, I would not sweat the money. I would just want action. And, I would like it when players sometimes won, because it would tell me that things are in balance, and the world is as it should be. And that kind of gets into the next question.
Before we go on to the next question, can I add my 2 cents real quick?
Yes.
So from a casino employee's standpoint, we always saw any floorman who sweated the money as not a good thing. Like, what are you doing? When you're basing it off of luck and superstition, you're obviously not aware of the math. You're not aware of like the probability. You're not aware of like what's going on. And we would always consider a floor supervisor who sweated the money as, someone who didn't know what they were doing. So.
I agree 100%. A friend of mine used to be a dealer at a casino here in Vegas, and I won't say the name because this is just a story. I don't know if it to be true, but he said one of the floormen kept some of the craps dice in a freezer. And he said that when there was a really hot roller, he would go to the freezer and bring out the cold dice.
Oh my God.
I could see that happening with some like old school floormen, but
yeah, I don't doubt it.
It's absolutely not something I would believe.
I don't doubt it. I've seen the floor supervisors do some very strange things in the name of superstition, and you just look at them like, what are you doing?
Okay, I think we've spent enough time on that one.
Okay.
So Plover, let me move the camera. Plover says, suppose I didn't like my stay at a particular casino. How would you formulate your criticism to the casino manager, either to improve the casino experience next time or to be better compensated? What are the best arguments to get the manager to improve things, spend my money elsewhere, negative reviews, talking about technical details, like for example, the games being too slow? Okay, this advice is not just true with casinos, but I think applies to anything. That if you have a grievance against any business, I would not make a big stink at the time that you're there. I would go home and write a letter to the appropriate person in that casino, and then explain what your grievances are. And I think that they will take it much more seriously if you took the time to put it in writing, as opposed to not just venting at the time you were mad. And I think that you're more likely to get like a coupon or, some sort of redress for whatever happened if they think you had a legitimate complaint. And so absolutely, that's my advice there. And if you had suggestions for them, I would again put them in writing. I think people take things that get put in writing much more than things that are just verbalized. And it also, I think, helps to put things in reviews. And I think that any given business likes to read their reviews, and anything that gets put in a gripe that gets put in them, I think that they will respond to that. So that's as far as I can take that one. Do you have any comments, Heather?
Nope.
Okay.
So do you want to go over the answer to the trivia question?
Okay. What was the question again? Oh yeah, the name of the person who circumcised Jesus. Did anyone answer it?
Was it Simon? I think that is Simon, and Anna prophesied over him, realized who he was. Oh, I guess I should have read the whole thing before I put it up there.
Yes, it was Simeon, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
It was Simeon. Okay.
So very good. To kudos to whoever got that one.
1940s.
Okay.
And then also to a math test says National Lampoon Christmas Vacation is a really good Christmas movie that they watch every year.
Okay. I haven't seen that one in a long time. Okay. So when Jesus was getting circumcised, there was a prophet there who also kind of recognized that Jesus was something special. So what was the name of this prophet?
Okay, so if you guys know the answer, put it in the chat and we will get to it here in a second.
Okay, so we're done with Wizard of Vegas questions, so let's get back to the peanut gallery.
So this is out of order, but I thought it was pretty funny, so I wanted to bring it up. If Michael is married, why have I never seen him wearing a wedding band? Where's your wedding band? Oh,
interesting observation. No, yeah, you're right. I kind of don't agree with wedding bands. Of course, everyone can wear any jewelry they wish for whatever reason, but my personal choice is that I don't think, like, how shall I put this? I just don't like to broadcast personal information. And so I feel that, I don't need to be making a visual show about my marital status to everybody. And furthermore, Mrs. Wizard doesn't wear one either. Maybe that had something to do with it, but she was the one who started not wearing one. So that is as far as I'm going to take that one.
And you don't wear rings or anything normally. Like, I don't normally ever see you wearing like jewelry or rings or stuff like that. If I do see you wearing jewelry, maybe it's like a bike chain bracelet.
Yeah.
Or, love that.
That's one of my few pieces of jewelry, is my bicycle chain bracelet.
Yeah.
So yeah, once in a while I will wear a bracelet, and I do wear my monocle on a nice silver necklace. In fact, I'll show it to you. So this is my monocle, and it's on this nice chain here. And I also have it with this piece of a meteor.
Oh, wow. Can we see that again?
Sure. So it's just like a slice of one, and it's very metallic. I mean, it's very magnetic. So yes, this is my piece of a meteor.
Cool.
So that's about as jewelry-fied as I get.
That's interesting. I like that. That's a good piece of jewelry.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you want to do one more question? I don't see any answers to the trivia yet. Although Cheryl says Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So
I love the Die Hard movie. I don't consider it a Christmas movie though, but I think we discussed that before.
Probably.
Okay, the last question was a tough one. I'll just say the answer is Anna.
Anna. Very cool.
Anna the prophet.
I think someone said that, but it was before we asked the question. Oh. So he was answering, and it ended up being an answer.
So somebody submitted that information voluntarily?
1940 says, Anna prophesied over him, realized who he was. I missed the question. But yes,
so 1940s even prophesied that I would ask this question and answered it in advance. So Good job, 1940s.
Woo.
Okay, here's a tough one that may challenge 1940s. How many generations separate Abraham from Jesus?
So if you guys know, put the answer in the chat. And as we are waiting, our next question comes from, let's see, where did it go? I have a lot of religious stuff in the chat right now. Where did that go? Here we go. PG Strong. PG Strong says, please explain the difference on the video poker payouts 9-6 and 10-7, etc. How do we know which is better?
Okay, so those two numbers are, the first one is what a full house pays, and the second one is what a flush pays. So if you just see two numbers in that range, it's got to be those. And sometimes there's more numbers. Sometimes it might depend on what a straight pays too. And it gets really complicated with deuces wild because a whole host of hands can vary in that game. So it's obvious that 10-7 is better than 9-6 because both numbers are bigger. However, be careful because in bonus poker, usually a two pair pays 2, but there's one pay table that looks really big, like 10-8, but they depress the two pair to 1. So one thing you can do, where is my book? Let me get my book.
Okay. And while he's getting that book, just want to point.
Okay. So you can always consult my site, but I also have a whole bunch of tables in my book for video poker. So let's look at double bonus, for example, right here. This shows you what every hand pays, and the bottom row shows you the return.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So, for example, let's look at double bonus, which you probably culled those numbers from. So 10-7 double bonus pays okay, 10-7-4 double bonus pays 98.81%. And I believe, what was his other number? I think it was 9-6. That pays 97.81%. Now, I should also throw out there that there is a 10-7-5 double bonus pay table. That pays 100.17%. And they do have some games of that at the Four Queens, by the way.
Very cool.
So never say the odds are always on the casino's side. That's a good example of a game where they're not, assuming optimal strategy.
Very, very cool. So,
all right, where are we?
Well, before we move on, 90s, 40s answered my question. 8 days because a new beginning after the day of rest. So.
I like that. 8 days, a new beginning. So God created the world in 7 days and then, 6 days, and then he rested on the 7th day. So I'm still not sure where I'm seeing the 8 days.
You started the new project on the 8th day, and that's why it's 8 days and not 7 days.
Okay. I buy that.
Cool. Okay, so let's see if anyone answered the trivia question.
Okay, the number of generations between Abraham and Jesus.
Was it 41?
I count 42. Now, I believe it's the Gospel of Matthew says that it was 14 generations between Abraham and some event, and then 14 from that event to another event, and then 14 from that event to Jesus. So I'm adding 14 plus 14 plus 14. Okay. So maybe I am counting Jesus himself as one generation and you're not. So I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I would say that Jesus was the great 40 greats grandson of Abraham.
Okay. And the Robertino got the answer correct with 14 generations.
Well, I'm saying 42, which is 14 times 3. Okay, cool. Enough about that one. Where did Joseph, Mary, and Jesus take refuge when King Herod was trying to kill every male baby born in Bethlehem?
So if you guys know the answer, put it in the chat. And also 1940 says, this is my favorite live show on YouTube. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
You have good taste. Heather has a good live stream too.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's super easy when we have a host that is as interesting and full of information as you are.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so next question.
Okay. No, I just asked one. Is where did Joseph, Mary, and Jesus take refuge when King Herod was trying to kill every male baby born in the proximity of Bethlehem? So while the peanut gallery is pondering that one, give me a new gambling question.
Will do. So it's not a question, it's more a statement. A math test says wedding rings can be very bad at exercise. They're dangerous. So that's another good reason why not to wear a wedding band.
I kind of agree with that. And I do a lot of rappelling, and jewelry and rappelling definitely do not go well together.
No.
And yeah, to me, it's just one thing that can go wrong. And also look at my fingers here. You can see, like, if I put my fingers together, you can see those gaps. So in order for me to get a wedding ring on my finger, it has to get past this big knuckle, but then it's going to wiggle around in there, and it's loose and it's uncomfortable and it bothers me. So that's another reason I don't like rings in general.
Okay. Now, we don't have any more questions from the viewers. So if you guys have a question for Michael Shackelford, please put it in the chat. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you have any stories or memories or anything where your jewelry got caught while you were exercising or unicycling or rappelling or anything like that?
Okay. My first wedding ring was 24 karat gold, which was not the best idea I ever had. And the first time that I juggled after this, and with my juggling partner, we would pass pins back and forth. By the time we had juggled for like half an hour, this wedding ring was bent all out of shape.
Ooh.
Because I didn't know this at the time, but pure gold is very soft, and it's very easy to malleate, if that's the right word, to change its shape. So after that, I had to get a gold alloy, which is what most people do to begin with. But in terms of getting injured, yeah, nothing comes to mind, to be honest with you. I'm just
Very
being
cool.
preventative.
Very, very cool. Well, I have the memory of one time I was running from the police, and when I jumped over the fence, I got my ring caught in the fence, and that's why I don't wear it. No, I'm kidding. Never happened. Okay, so our next question comes from PJ Strong. What do you think of the gambling heist in the Ocean's 13 film? Can something like that be pulled off?
Heather, is that the one that was the Bellagio vault?
I don't know.
I think it was.
I don't even think I've seen it.
So what happened in that movie is allegedly the Bellagio had a vault way down deep below the Bellagio, and there was all this security and cameras and blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, Brad Pitt and his whole crew came up with this elaborate scheme to rob the vault. And it was a pretty clever scheme, and it's a pretty good movie. And they covered every single detail. And but in reality, the Bellagio actually has no such like underground vault. Now they do have like money rooms, but you don't hear about people getting into like the casinos, like the big vault, very often. I tend to think that, I mean, almost anything is possible, but I tend to think that it's probably not a heist that happens very often. I think most heists are something that are, something that have a lower ambition that's easier to pull off, but what do I know about it? So
I
that's about as
think
far as I can take that one. If you
I
have any
think
comments, Heather.
I think what's normal with something like that is they don't have vaults per se. They have a hard count room
Mm-hmm.
and a soft count room. And the
Mm-hmm.
hard count room, they don't really have to worry that much because it's all change and coins and that type of thing. But the soft count
Mm-hmm.
room is where they have to worry. And they have to worry more not about heists, but they have to worry about their employees stealing from them, especially in the
Mm-hmm.
soft count room. So I think that would be the closest thing to a heist at, Bellagio than anything Ocean's 13 could, come up with.
Yeah. One time I did a tour of the Hard Rock here in Vegas, and I was let through both of those rooms, and there was security up the wazoo and cameras everywhere. And I do know that casinos are required to have so much cash on hand. Um, if these are just in the count rooms, I'm not sure. But this is not something I know much about, so I think that's about as far as I can take that question. And let's see if I have any more nativity questions. Okay, no, I asked where did Jesus, Joseph, and Mary take refuge when King Herod was doing his thing?
Okay, and we have a couple answers. Alexandria, Egypt is where they hid from Harold. Is that correct?
King Herod.
Harold.
I did not know about Alexandria in specific. I thought that the Bible just says Egypt. Um, so, yeah, I'd be interested to know why you add the Alexandria part.
And
Not saying
that's
you're wrong. I'm always keen to learn something.
and that's pretty much the only answer it looks like we have for that trivia question.
Okay, well, let's do one final trivia question.
Oh, do you want an easy one or a hard one?
Oh, well, if you're going to give one to me, I want a hard one.
It's not from me, it's from one of the viewers.
Um, well, I'm going to give you guys, I guess, an easy one. True or false?
What?
The Bible says that Jesus was born on December 25th.
Non-applicable. Well, he wasn't.
What's not applicable?
So basically, he was a god, right? Wasn't he like a demigod,
Who?
like Jesus?
Well, let's not go down
Oh,
that path because
okay.
I see we only have
Sorry.
3 minutes left.
It's not
Um,
enough time.
mhm.
Okay, so if you guys know the answer, put it in the chat. And our last question will be an easy one. It will be from Eric. What is the best deli in town?
I'm really not very good with restaurant questions. I personally like the Bagel Cafe. Not sure if it's best called a deli, but it's I hope no one will be offended if I say it's kind of like the Jewish hangout spot of West Las Vegas. You often see the Goldmans there. So I love the Bagel Cafe. It's pretty far off the strip, but it gets a big thumbs up from me.
Very cool. And then do you want to do one more question or should we call it quits?
Let's do another one.
Okay. What is your opinion about NFTs?
Heather, can you remind me what NFT stands for?
Oh, they are so weird. So do you know that meme where the little girl is standing in she has this like really evil like looking grin on her face and behind her there's a house that's on fire and it's a really popular meme.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
I
which meme
don't, but go on.
Okay, that picture, that meme sold for like $400,000 and that's the NFT. It's when you're buying like digital products like pictures or
Oh, okay. Now I know
memes
what you're
or
talking about. It's digital art,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I know there's a guy in my hiking club who makes this stuff. Um, Again, it's not something I know much about. It sounds kind of like a fad to me. Um, you know, I I kind of don't respect something as art if it's just digital to me, that's just ones and zeros. I want something that's physical that I can put on my wall, or it's a statue. Um, that's just me though. You could take like a digital piece of art and print it, and does that make it suddenly art?
That's a good
Um,
question.
yeah, no, I would say that I do appreciate digital art, but I think that's something, yeah, I, yeah, about the NFTs. Yeah, it sounds kind of like a fad to me, but it's not something I know anything about. And so that's my opinion there.
Okay. And the answer to the trivia question, Eric is the first one to answer, and he says false. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is false. The Bible does not say anything about the date that Jesus was born. However, I think it makes common sense that that um, that they would not require a census in the winter, and that the shepherds would not be out there with their flocks in the winter, which the Bible says that they were. So I tend to think that he was probably born in the spring, but probably very unlikely to be in the winter. And furthermore, I think the reason it is celebrated when it is because the first day of winter, also known as the winter solstice, is December 21st, which is in 5 days. And so I think that um, Christians were trying to kind of usurp that pagan holiday and make it their own. So that is my belief. It's just my opinion. And that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, cool. And that looks like that does it.
Okay.
So when is the next time we're going to do a live stream?
Let me pull out my calendar here. How about December 30th?
Awesome. So we get to do one more for 2021 before we go on to the new year.
Yep.
Very cool.
Okay. So, Heather, thank you very much for producing the show and co-hosting it. Thanks for everyone in the Peanut Gallery for coming and for all your participation. And
thank you.
Since this will be the last live stream before Christmas, I wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah. May you have a blessed Festivus. If you celebrate nothing at all, may you still have a good time, and peace to everybody.
And great to see you guys.
Okay.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Okay, thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.